Russian military losses in Ukraine approaches 780 soldiers, 10 tanks, and more than 20 armored personnel vehicles yesterday, according to Kyiv's military statement, as fighting rages on ahead of anticipated offensives in the coming months. Russian military have now lost a total of over 440,000 troops since Moscow started its full-scale invasion in February 2022, according to updated figures published by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. According to the Kyiv's count, Russia has now lost a total of 6,920 tanks and 13,260 armored personnel vehicles. Other than the territorial gains, Russia is sustaining heavy military losses, both in troops and equipment, primarily because of the Ukrainian resolve and the regular support and supplies from the West. In any war, casualty counts and equipment losses are notoriously unclear and very opaque. Western experts suggest both Kyiv's and Moscow's reported losses are most probably higher than the true figures. Neither side regularly offers updated statistics on their own losses, but in late February, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said 31,000 Ukrainian soldiers had died in the more than 2 years of fighting. If Ukraine's tally includes overall casualties, as well as Russian fighters who are missing or died in non-combat circumstances, it is a perfectly plausible tally. Senior research fellow for land warfare at the London-based Royal United Services Institute think tank told press last month. In advanced stages of war, casualty counts typically spike during drawn-out battles, such when Russia launched its offensive on the strategic Donetsk city of Avdiivka in late last year. Russia has controlled the settlement since mid-February, and casualty figures were getting worse, except for yesterday, when it reached a peak. Earlier in March, the British government said Russia's monthly casualty count throughout February reached the highest point in the 2 years of full-scale war. Moscow has likely sustained more than 335,000 casualties in this period, London said. This, almost certainly, reflects Russia's commitment to mass and attritional warfare, the UK Defense Ministry said. Kyiv is losing its own resources in the war. Russia's defense ministry said on Wednesday that Ukraine had lost 15,614 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, plus 8,546 field artillery guns and mortars since February 2022. Like Ukraine's figures on purported Moscow's losses, these are very difficult to verify. Russian Defense Ministry stated last week that Ukraine had sustained over 71,000 casualties since January 2024. This was very similar to the Russian casualty figures put forward by Ukraine's military. Kyiv's tally at the time put Russian casualties at nearing 72,000 since the beginning of the year. Russian forces are preparing for a new offensive during the summer and is piling up its troops in the bordering regions of the Ukraine. The mortality figures ought to be treated with caution. The figures do indicate the scale of losses on both sides.